Now, with all the talk from the left about environmental justice, one has to ask, where is the justice for all these dead whales that keep washing up on the beaches of New York and New Jersey? Last weekend, this massive humpback whale washed ashore on Lido Beach on Long Island. Where's Greenpeace? Where's the Sierra Club? They say right now it's unfounded and premature to connect wind turbine construction to these whale deaths, but there are other scientists who are getting concerned about that. The National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, was on the scene at Lido Beach, taking samples and taking a closer look at what could have caused this whale to die. Preliminary findings indicate that it may have been a vessel strike. At least that's what they're saying now. But Politico reports the deaths are happening as pre-construction work ramps up on offshore wind farms, which are a key part of the left's and New Jersey's climate change strategy. Wind energy over whales. That might be a bumper sticker coming to President Biden's campaign next year.
My administration said bold targets to start with, 30 gigawatts by 2030. That's 10 million homes. 10 million homes offshore wind. Ports turn back into economic engines.
He doesn't really sound that energized by it right there. But anyway, New Jersey Democratic Governor Phil Murphy set a statewide target of generating 11,000 megawatts of offshore wind power by 2040. Whales be damned. Joining us right now to talk more about this, host of the Rubin Report and the author of Don't Burn This Country, Dave Rubin. Great to see you, Dave.
And whale expert.
Yes, and whale expert. I think this story, though, perfectly and in a way tragically encapsulates the real problem we see with the left's green energy policies. One small step forward for green energy, and everyone working on it here in the United States is a giant leap backwards for some other part of the environment. We could be talking about dead whales or 6-year-old kids digging in strip mines for cobalt in the Congo.
John, you're not going to believe this, but every action has a reaction. And I believe that to some degree, some of the politicians pushing this Green New Deal or the ideas of the Green New Deal, they have good intentions. But of course, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you say, all right, we're going to use more wind power. Next thing you know, you've killed a whole bunch of birds and you've started now to kill whales, whether they are figuring out how to get batteries for electric cars and have to send kids into coal mines or whatever else it might be. What the Democrats or the left, whatever you want to call them at this point, what the people pushing this green agenda are particularly good at is the initial salvo into the conversation. We're here to save the world.
Yeah.
You're either with us or against us. That sounds pretty good because everyone wants to save the world, don't you? But then, with like most things with them, you just have to go a little bit beneath that very thin veneer and you find out that they actually don't know how to do any of these things. And let's not forget, it was what, 3 years ago that AOC said we only have 7 years left on the planet, so we may as well enjoy ourselves with fossil fuels, considering we're at about 4 years left.
Yes, it's going to be cold in the Northeast. Stay warm. I mean, if you only have a couple more winters left, you might as well stay warm this winter with fossil fuels. Well, Dave, I want to thank you. It was nice of you to go out to San Francisco on our behalf to find out what's going on at Twitter. I know you were able to get some time with Elon Musk, and you found out a whole bunch of weird stuff was going on and is actually still going on behind the scenes. Tell us about it.
It's really wild what's going on at Twitter right now. As I started the long Twitter thread that I put out, having left Twitter, I said that when I sat down with Elon for 2 hours, the only thing I really asked him at the end was, hey, can I tell people what I've learned here? And he said, and I quote, as long as it's true. And I have reported back on everything that I have heard there. They have a really, really messy code right now. He likened it to a Jenga, which, you know, everyone's played with Jenga, the wood blocks that you build up. That Tower of Babel, and if you pull one piece out, you might take the whole thing down. And that's what they're finding within the code. The more that they fix the code, because it was so screwy, either intentionally screwed up by activists at the company or because of some of the connections that we now know of related to the government through the Twitter files, or just bad programming, they are unable right now to get this thing to work cleanly. Everyone in the last couple of days on Twitter is noticing that engagement is down. A whole bunch of people are setting their accounts to private so that their actual followers can see their accounts, but then other people can't. I mean, it's a lot of insider baseball stuff. But the banner takeaway is that Elon is working very, very hard to fix this thing. But as he said to me at the end, he may just have to blow the whole thing up. It may be so rotten to the core that he may have to just rebuild it from scratch. But look, even if you're frustrated with Twitter, or for your viewers that are not on Twitter, it is the digital public square, whether you like it or not, right? I have all sorts of frustrations with Twitter. I know you do too as well, John. But at the end of the day, it is the place where we all communicate right now, and we need it to be functional, and we need it to be the even playing field that he promised when he bought it. So I know the guy's working hard. I'll also tell you, he laughs a lot. He's funny. He loves joking around. And he's working his butt off. The 2 times that I met with him back-to-back days were both after midnight, because he's in meetings quite literally all day long.
Did he give you any indication on when he would know if he's going to have to blow the whole thing up?
No, because what they're finding, he said the Jenga thing, and then the other one that he used with me, he had 2 other metaphors. He said one, it's like a fractal Rube Goldberg machine. And John, I know you're a child of the 80s.
Yes.
So you could do Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. Yes.
Having his breakfast in the morning, that Rube Goldberg machine.
That is the Rube Goldberg machine of record for our generation. Let's get it out there. Yes.
Exactly. He compared it to that, and then he also compared it to a layer cake. You know, basically, if you get a tiramisu for dessert at a restaurant, there's all these layers to it. You start fixing things, and then what you realize is you've dug your spoon into a layer that you weren't supposed to go into. So there really is no timeline on this stuff. I am still talking to some engineers about what's going on over there, and the pictures that you're showing there are the offices over there, which are very, very dystopian, because, the company had about 7,500 employees. He came in and fired half of them. Clearly, they were not needed, but now they've got really empty offices. The offices were already empty, though, because nobody
they was working remotely. Oh. Yeah. Next time you talk to him, can you ask him if he can buy AT&T and DirecTV? Because he's fixing Twitter, but the lizard overlords in Congress wrote a letter and leaned on AT&T, and they kicked us off, Dave. And there are 13 million Americans right now who cannot watch this show on DirecTV. And it's heartbreaking for me not to be able to reach those folks, but they can fight back. What's your message for them?
No, listen, joking aside, I think what they've done to you guys is absolutely terrible. I love doing this show, John, but everyone that I've ever worked with at Newsmax, and when I moved to Florida and didn't have a studio, you guys hooked us up. I've never had anything other than a good experience with Newsmax. And this is one of the things that the left has become extremely good at. Instead of debating the ideas, they just take you out, whether that's canceling a Twitter account to connect it to the earlier story, or whether that's kicking a channel off of a cable network, the cable systems. They've become extremely good at this. I'm a firm believer that technology creates a lot of problems, but it can also solve a lot of problems. Hopefully we get some, brave Republicans in Congress that can help you guys out. But otherwise there will be digital answers to all of these questions.
Someday in the future there will be, but these guys still have kind of their boots on the throat of a lot of content creators right now. The system is changing, but it's going to take a while. But thanks, Dave. And again, thank you for going out to San Francisco and representing us on with Elon Musk there. That means a lot to us.
John, my pleasure. And for the record, I do consider you the Pee Wee Herman of newsmaking.
I don't know how to take that, quite frankly. We'll talk about it later, though, Dave. Thank you.
See ya.
All right.